Hello, my name is Dr. Nathan Kleczewski. I am a research assistant professor and extension field crop pathologist at the University of Illinois in Champaign. Today I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about how integrated pest management or integrated disease management helps to manage diseases in general and in different crops. Now we need to keep in mind that plant diseases don't just occur out of thin air. There are different things that need to happen for a disease to take place on your plant or on your crop. First, you need a susceptible host. That means it has to be the correct species, the correct cultivar, and it has to be at the right growth stage. The second thing you need is a pathogen. This is an organism that causes disease, and it has to be the right pathogen, the right species, pathovar, and have aggressiveness. And it also has to be at the correct growth stage. And the third thing is a conducive environment for disease. So these are conditions that favor the pathogen over the growth of the host. So that's things such as temperature, moisture, light. Those are all going to have to come together. All three of those factors come together. And when they do, that's when you get disease. The longer those 3 points are held together, the more disease you have over time. With disease management, the idea is that we're not going to necessarily keep our plants 100% free of disease. That's just not possible. But what we're going to do is reduce the disease to a point that it's not going to cause an economic loss to our producers. We want to make sure that if we are going to do something such as apply a fungicide, they get applied and the cost of that application is made back by that application. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on. If you think about this in terms of a graph, the amount of disease on the y-axis, and then the time on the x-axis here, that blue line there would represent a disease that's not managed. You see how it starts up early. By the time you harvest, you've got a lot of disease and potential yield loss. However, if you manage through integrated disease management, the amount of disease you have stays underneath the amount that would be that economic threshold, and therefore you're not losing significant amounts of yield. There are other factors that are very important in terms of diseases and yield and when those diseases occur, especially if you're thinking about foliar diseases. Now I'm going to use corn here as an example. The earlier those diseases arrive on the plant, the longer they have to cause yield losses. So if a disease such as, let's say, southern rust arrives at V12, it'll have a much longer amount of time to cause disease and reduce your yields than if it arrives later on in the season at R5. And remember, for all of our crops, there's a critical period of growth or a critical period of development where that your majority of your yield is being made. And that's what we really want to protect when we're applying fungicides. So utilizing integrated pest management is going to use different aspects or different practices to push those curves further to the right and keep the amount of disease below the economic disease threshold. These will include cultural practices such as tillage to bury residue, rotation to ensure that you're diversifying the type of residue in your field, as well as to ensure that you don't have the same host in the same location year after year, therefore building up some of those pathogen numbers in a field. Sanitation, and that can be something as simple as washing your equipment down after you've plowed or after you've harvested, okay? Making sure you're not moving sclerotia from white mold from field to field. And planting date can be another one. So for some of our diseases, planting earlier can be more problematic, like SDS, and some diseases planting later might be more problematic. So basically, utilizing those practices to minimize the amount of disease development. Host resistance in your hybrid cultivar variety is going to be huge. You've got a disease that's an annual issue, and you have the ability to choose a hybrid cultivar variety that is resistant to that disease. That provides you a lot of insurance and reduces your level of risk for yield loss due to that particular disease. And then chemical control. These are things like fungicides, bactericides, and nematicides or stats. Just keep in mind that all of these have a given amount of time that they work. Typically, if we're applying a foliar fungicide, you're looking at about a 3-week window of protection. and we just have to keep that in mind. Same with our seed treatments, about 3 weeks. Last thing is biological control. This can be organisms we add to the soil, or it can be just managing soil health to increase other organisms that can compete with our pathogens. So those are our 4 different parts of an integrated pest management program. So as you're going and you're thinking about how to reduce disease in your field, try to utilize 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of these different practices to improve your yields and reduce the chances that diseases are going to be a problem for you in the future. Thank you and have a great day.